what they figured out is if you can review 3 good things in your life daily, you can actually, in clinical settings, at least at Duke, I work with some of these folks, it is as good as an antidepressant, which is really profound. Because all you have to do is at the end of the day, write out, so we're not just thinking about it, we are writing out 3 good things from that day. I know, it sounds too good to be true. Here's some caveats. It's got to be 3. So it's not a thing of like, oh, if 3's good, 6 must be better. No, because what happens is once we get to like 5, 6, 7 and start to run out of good things in our life, it inverts itself. And now it's like, well, shit, like there's some real, I can't think of 10 good things in my life. Right, that's why it's got to be 3. So most of the time in a given day, we can come up with 3 good things that happened in that day. We don't need all the research, and this is going on like 30 years of this research. They've never found, even over a 5-year period, that they need to increase it to say 4, right? That there's this baseline of 3 that has stayed constant for years and years and years. So what does this look like in practice? Is actually helpful while you're traveling as well. So this is how I've translated their research. So we get some dry erase markers and make sure that you always travel or have dry erase markers with you. Because you can do it whether you're in a hotel or anything. Before you start your evening routine of washing your face, brushing your teeth, I'm big into like wrinkle cream these days. Before I start all of that, I write up on my mirror in the bathroom 3 good things and number it, 1, 2, and 3. So this is, again, before I'm doing all my stuff. So then I take my dry erase marker and I write game night with the family. Notice I didn't say just family, right? This big amorphous, but an actual moment. And we talked about that earlier today, where we can elicit the positive feelings that we experienced in the moment with someone doing something positive later in that time. So this is what we're doing. We are re-feeling into these things, which is why it needs to be a very specific thing. Another one was a 10-minute meditation. So one was something I did in connection with other people. One was for myself. There's no rules to this. This is just how it shaped up, and I've learned about even what I wrote about since. And then a successful course launch. Years ago, I did this thing. So you write all this up, you're on the mirror, and you are seeing yourself through these good things, right? So think about this. You're seeing yourself through these good things that you have, and this is having an impact on the neural pathways of your brain. It's engaging your parasympathetic nervous system, right? To be like, oh, instead of this is what I have to do tomorrow, this is what I have to, and then I got to do this, right? And we're activating ourselves. We're actually deactivating ourselves, settling into, man, there were some good things that happened today. And not, right? A game night with my family, that's not like, oh, I'm going to remember this for the rest of my life. It was just like, this was a really good thing that happened today. I'm really grateful for this thing. It primes our brain to then look for good things, right? So I go to bed, I leave this up. When I wake up, if I can make it from the bedroom to the bathroom without checking my cell phone, this will be the first thing that you see in the morning. And what that does, regardless, say you got a terrible night's sleep, the first thing that you see is like, man, I guess there was some good things that happened, right? And this is where the antidepressant kicks in. It starts to pivot like, man, okay, maybe there are some good things in my life. So then as you're doing your morning work, right, curling your hair and doing all these sorts of things, you're still oriented to what you did yesterday. But before you leave, you erase everything except for the 3 good things. And what this does is it serves as an accountability structure, because now your brain is like, this is left incomplete. You were talking about the time left of like incomplete tasks. Now you've just set yourself a task that at the end of the day, this is going to be looking at you. And I already know how you all do with incomplete tasks. So this is going to be like calling to you all day long, priming you to be looking for good things so that you can check it off your list. It disproportionately causes us to look for good things, whether that's roses, whether that's somebody doing nice for somebody else, you maybe doing nice for somebody else, seeing somebody you haven't seen in a while. And then once they show up, you're gonna step into that moment and feel it on a totally new level. So that maybe when you're alone and missing people, you can come back to some of these things. So then when you come back at the end of the day, you do it all again. And as long as this is kept up with, they're even finding that you can skip days. They used to believe, 5 years ago, that you had to do it every day, but they're actually noticing that you can even skip days or even as little as 3 days a week, and it will still hold the same amount of antidepressant capabilities. What's different about an antidepressant, and I'll wrap up with this, as long as, if I take an antidepressant and I'm not depressed, I don't have any increased benefit from that. I'll have some wonderful side effects, but I won't see a boost, right? You don't take an otherwise happy person given an antidepressant and it makes them exponentially happier. It doesn't happen. That's not the mechanics of this. However, if you're not depressed and you do this, you will see those upward gains, right? So when I think about, the task force, when I think about stigmas about reaching out for help and how difficult that is, and if we're looking for non-therapeutic, non-medication-based sorts of things to build our resiliency, to serve as an antidepressant, if we can find things that are outside of that scope that have the same impact, that seems like a pretty good deal to me.